Yes, welcome to this weekly market outlook. So let's just go straight into some of the pairs we want to look at today, especially JPY pairs. They are looking really good. So let's start with the common pair, which is GBP, JPY, one of the most traded pairs. So looking at GBP USD, just clean my charts. Let's look at it from last month and how it is playing throughout the month. So we are 19 days into the we still have 19 days left for the monthly candle to close, but it is obvious that we're trading around here in this region here. So once market gets out of this region here, then possibly we could have a potential of this next high, which will be as our overall resistance. But however, it is important for us to still concentrate our efforts on this region here because the market has not yet gotten out of this. So if we are concentrating here, we need to also understand the greater movement of the market. So this, you need to understand your highs, which have been taken. So there's this high is here, which were taken. So we can say this is where the market broke out from. So we had highs here, and then there was this high, and the market broke out of this high, went up, and now it is ranging here on its way to this all-time high, to this one of these high, which will be like our support. So once we clearly have that and we understand where we are trading, let's just remove this, and then also not forget these monthly highs, which will act as our immediate resistance because price will have to break out of this before it can be able to head up all the way up to here. So if we clearly have that, then the next thing we just need to understand is we need to understand clearly what the lower time frames are telling us, specifically the nearest time frame to the monthly chart. In that case, that will have to be the weekly chart, and the weekly candle has just closed. So looking at the weekly candle, this is how it is looking. So there is a possible reaction here. And then also we need to understand where the market also broke out from. All right, so we had this region, these highs here. You can see 1, 2, 3, like about 3 weeks where the market was ranging here. And then finally, we also had the market breaking out of that. So the moment we have this, then we can possibly look at the lows and the highs. So this is our weekly low. And then also this is another weekly low. So this become our support. So now we have narrowed the market down this region here of the range. And in this region of the range, we have had our possible resistance area, and then also our possible support area. So once we have narrowed this down, the only time we can begin to look for some buying opportunities is if this market breaks out of this range. But before that, let's look at the daily and see how price is actually playing out. So on the daily, you also need to understand an area where price broke out. You see, if you look at this on the daily, this is what led to this. Okay, so this is the same where price broke out from, came to retest this, and then is pushing back. And then we also had another area of where price broke out from based on the daily. So that, so once we have this, and this is our monthly resistance, we can finally come to our 4-hourly time frame. The 4-hourly time frame, this is what we have. So we have support area here and resistance here. So what do we need to really see? We want to see price failing to take away these highs. And then when we have our bearish candles here, then we can begin to look for some selling opportunities and then target these support areas. So that's it on GJ. It's looking good. Possibly we could have short trading opportunity this week. So with that being said, let's go to add another pound pair so that we can, another GPY pair, another yen pair so that we can conclusively have a clear picture of what the JPYs are going to be doing, whether they will be strengthening. So let's go to New Zealand JPY. So with New Zealand JPY, again, we want to look at it from the highest time frame possible, and that is going to be our monthly. And then on the monthly, we want to see what is exactly happening. So on the monthly, this is our resistance because this is a high. And then you don't forget there's also a possible scenario where we can have this high also acting as our resistance. So once we have that, we want to see how then this was the area where price is seeming to be breaking out from. But remember, we still have 19 days for the close of this candle, so we cannot conclusively say on the monthly that this is a breakout. All right, so once we have this, then we can come to our weekly candle. And then on our weekly, the market is looking like it has broken out of this. So where did it break out? We also had one area here and then this here. So sometimes what usually happens is that price can tend to appear like it is breaking out and then fake and then breaks back inside. But that will happen. Let's go to lower time frames and begin to see how that dynamic will be able to play. Because we have a resistance here, price is broken out of it. Then let's see whether it will come to retest this to push back up, or it will just break back inward. So that's what we shall have to see. Looking at it from the 4-hourly time frame, this is how it is looking at. So the only way we can actually, so there are two things which can happen here. Either price breaks, come to retest this to push back, or breaks back inside. So those are the scenarios, depending on whether the JPY is going to strengthen. If it is strengthens, then we shall surely have that opportunity for price to be able to play into our scenario. So that means we shall need to see whether they are going to be fundamental events that will drive us and that will drive volatility for us. So let's look at the calendar from next week, which will be 12th. So there's actually going to be there's nothing on Monday, 12th, and then also Tuesday. That's when we have the New Zealand inflation expectations, and then we also have the CPI for the Swiss. And then Wednesday we'll be having the CPI also for the dollar. So it is important to also look at the dollar, some few dollar pairs before we can be able to cross over. So let's start with gold. So let's see what gold is actually doing. Okay, so looking at gold from the monthly picture, we need to clearly know what is happening from the bigger picture. This has been our resistance for a long time, and then no, this is silver. So let's focus on gold. So we have to focus on gold spot and then be able to analyze it from there. Okay. So looking at gold from the monthly time frame, this has been our resistance area. Let's just do this. So this has been our resistance area. Okay, so 1, 2, and then the third one, and then a fake out, price seeming to break out and then comes back inside. So the moment we still have that as our resistance, we can begin to look for possible supports, and these are these lows. So there's this previous monthly low, and then also there is this other monthly low, and then there's also these other lows here. These are our possible support areas. So we cannot conclusively say that this is a high month because the month has not yet closed. So we can come to the weekly. And then on the weekly, that's when we can begin to see whether we shall have some serious key levels that we can rely on to tell us whether there will be resistances or supports. So looking at it, this has been a resistance area. So you look at this touch and then this touch. And now we have another, the weekly high here. Then once, and then we have that scenario where we have a weekly high and then also the range of this weekly low. So we want to see how price is going to play around here. Looking at it from the daily time frame, this is how it looks like. So we've been having our support areas here, support, and then price pulling back, moving down, getting the strength of the dollar. So when we come to the 4-hourly, this is what we see. So we can clearly see here, this is the gold is actually ranging here, coming into this low, and then also in between this. So we don't really have a solid trading opportunity. You don't want to jump in now and be caught up. Yeah, but let's see how the whole thing will play out. So let's go to one more dollar pair because we have so let's go to Euro USD because we have CPI for the dollar coming up this month, this week. So the most important thing we want to be able to see is mark our monthly lows and monthly highs and where price broke out from. So this is definitely our monthly lows, this which will be our support, and then these are our monthly highs, and then where did price break out? So if you look at this strong candle here, took away this month, so that is where price broke out from. This is possibly going to be like our area of support. And then these are the lows here, this monthly low, this low. So this can also be another support area. Once we have that, we can now go because this candle has not, we are looking at this as our support, not this, because this monthly candle has not yet closed. So we cannot say this is a support based on this monthly candle. With that being said, we can go to the weekly and look at how the weekly candle has actually closed. So you can see how this previous monthly low is playing as a support here. So once you have that in mind, we need to see one thing. Where did price break out from? So if you look at this weekly low, so that is a breakout. So this candle took away this. So now we have our areas of trading clearly defined, support, and possible resistance in case price pushes back. So we can go to the daily and begin to see what is clearly happening. So on the daily, you can see here the area of the breakout and now what price is actually doing, pulling back into this region, and then maybe this will form our resistance. So that is what we have. Okay. So this is where price broke out, and then now price is pulling back into this region, possibly give us a resistance here, and then be able to head back down. So that's what we have on JPY, and then some dollar pairs. So with that being said, let's switch to one more pair. In that case, will be the Swiss pairs. They are really looking good. So let's start with GBP CHF. So let's go to our monthly. And then on our monthly, we want to be able to understand whether we shall have some trading opportunities. So if you look at the videos we've been doing, Wole has been saying, whenever the market forms a wick, eventually that wick will have to be filled. The same way we had a low here and then market push back all the way, and then eventually it came and filled it. So in the same scenario, we have a low here, so which we shall mark as our all-time support level. So, but then here we are seeing price, eventually it will be filled here, but that is from the swing perspective. So a lot will happen for it to be able to come to close this week. But before that happen, we need to study the individual candles which are here. So we shall not forget that this is going to be also another support because this is a low. And then we have the previous monthly candle, this one here, which will act as our resistance area. So we want to mark that previous monthly candle. And then also these are the month, and then these are the months, just to know if price wants to really pull back down into this, will this previous monthly candle act as our support, our resistance, or this, or this? So this scenario, these three scenarios will inform us on how we are going to be able to trade. So once we are done with that, we can go to weekly candle. And on the weekly candle, this is what we have. Of course, like we've been explaining, you want to understand where price broke out from. So we had this high, and then these two highs taken out, and then price was able to break out from these highs. So this can become our support areas. This is where the breakout occurred. And now we have the previous monthly candle, which is this. So this is definitely our support area. And then we have also this previous week, which has been taken out by this. So this also is a possible another support area. This is our resistance. And then we have also these other resistance here. And then also these other ones here on the monthly perspective. So once we have that and the week is done, the weekly candle has closed, we can come to the daily, and on the daily we want to see, so you can clearly see this area here where price actually broke out. Also the same as our demand area. If you trade demand, look at that. Okay. And then we had a retest, and then price is here bouncing all the way again. So now here we have our previous monthly candle, which was this, is now acting as our resistance area. And looking at that on the 4-hourly time frame, this is what it looks like now. you can clearly have your resistance area here, and then you also have your double top formation possibly forming. So now, if this gives us an opportunity to be able to trade, that will depend on whether the market breaks above this. So if we have a strong bearish candle breaking back into this, then there is a possibility that we can have a shorting opportunity up to all the way up to here to where the price broke out this support area. So that's what we have on GBP CHF. Let's tackle one more pair and we can call it. So let's go to New Zealand CHF. So the New Zealand CHF is also looking good. So let's look at it from the bigger time frame, which will be our monthly time frame. So on the monthly time frame, these are the previous monthly high that will act as our support. So these are the high as resistance. And then we have this all-time low. So price seems this was filled. So this low was filled and then a fake out. Remember, there is a strategy we explain usually. Once the lows have been taken out, price tend to pull back up. So as price is pulling back, we want to understand how far it could actually pull. Will it pull all the way up to these previous highs? Or will it pull all the way up to these previous highs? Better still, will it happen? Pull back all the way up to that. So once we have this will be our resistances. Now we can switch to a lower time frame. In that case, which will be our weekly. And on the weekly, you need to study one thing, which will help us. So let me just remove this because it's not so relevant because price has actually done that. So first, you need to see where price actually broke out. You see this strong candle here. That is a breakout candle. So it took away this high. Okay, so that formed the basis for our support. That's why price is being supported here. In the same way, we have this strong candle here, which took away this and then this. For these ones here, they were retested here and price came back down, but this has not yet been retested. So that becomes another possible area of resistance. So now the question we want to be able to see, will price break back inside? Because looking at how this strong candle has taken away this high, this, and this. So will there be a pullback before we can head to this resistance and also this weekly high? So that's what we shall have to see. Going to a lower time frame. Then here, definitely there is an area of a breakout. That is going to be like another support area. So once we have this, we have to look at them on the 4-hourly time frame. So you can see clearly here, price has broken out here. So, and then price is dancing around this resistance area before it can head to this. So all we want to see now is, will price be able to break back inside to come and retest this support or come all the way up to that? So once we have this, so that's what we need to do. So the reason why we are looking at Swiss and the dollar, because the CPIs are actually coming. We have the CPI, the dollar CPI Wednesday. No, on Tuesday, that is 13th of February. And then we also have, which is here. Okay. And then we also, so we have on that same day, which will be Tuesday, we have the Swiss CPI, that will be at 10:30 a.m. or in our local time. And then we also have at 4:30 p.m. we also have the core CPI for the dollar. So this will be able to inform our trading. And then following that, on Wednesday, we shall also have the pound CPI. Then also later that week, the AUD, the Aussie employment change. And then also that is on Thursday. That's when we also have the retail sales. And then finally on Friday, we round it off with retail sales for GBP and then also the core PPI for the USD. So that's what we have. Practice proper risk management and then always keep it simple.